one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, all.
Morning.
All right. Make a motion to approve the agenda, or call the meeting to order, I guess, and make a motion if the agenda is nothing else on it.
Nothing else? Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I will second.
In a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I would let you know that, yesterday I invited Todd over, was at church, and I invited him, being we had a short meeting here, to, I've had some people asking about what's going on out at Sheldon, and I thought Ben brought it up last week, that we could visit about it, so. Anyway, approve the minutes from the 11th.
I read through them, they look accurate to me.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second for the minutes on the 11th. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, general public concerns. I guess I would extend my hand to Alex for, this is his last week. Unfortunately, we're letting him sneak out of town. He's headed back to the west, and this is his new, Matt, you're on camera, so smile.
Yeah.
This is his new radio personnel. We haven't heard the new slogan yet, the Dear Mama, or he's gonna let him have that, but we welcome you to Humboldt and
Appreciate it, thank you.
look forward to working with you. All right, with that, looks like it's you, Ben.
Just me?
Yeah.
Got on the agenda to approve the quote for, pavement marking to GTS, Easy Liner. They are out of Orange City, a company that we've used for the last, since I've been here, so almost 20 years. When you break the pricing down, it ends up being about $20 a gallon for both center line and edge line. The other quote that we got was from Iowa Plains Signing. Their price is closer to $32 a gallon.
So is that BTS, is that the, was it Diamond Vogel, was that?
Yep. Yeah,
Well, so these are the two different quotes?
those are the two different.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
28,000 difference? It's a very large difference between the two.
Oh, that is huge.
We've never had,
I'll make that motion to accept BCS's.
Yeah, I'll second Sandy's motion. I don't think there's much.
Pretty easy discussion on that.
yeah, the quotes aren't even close.
You obviously check the availability of paint.
Yep.
They have paint
They
to
have-
cover
they have
the listed.
cover all of this.
Okay.
Yeah, so once we approve this, I'll send letters out to the cities that usually have a little bit of work done on their side streets,
Yeah.
and let them know that.
Oh, awesome.
So they can get it all done at the same time, save them some
And
money.
they can contact same folks and
Yes.
get some of their painting done as well.
Yep.
Awesome.
Great.
That's
What is,
awesome.
what have we got scheduled for painting? Is it,
I did not include a copy of the map. Basically, it's 69 miles of center line striping.
well, I'm not putting you on the spot, I just didn't know if we do like spraying when we do a certain part, or,
Usually.
we don't do it every year, I know.
Yeah,
Can't
I'll
afford
run
to.
and- I'll run and, check the roads that are close to the oldest, and,
Right.
John.
factor it that way. Some of our roads that get heavier traffic wear faster than the roads that have little to no traffic, so.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the pavement marking from VTS. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We'll be busy hauling rock this week. We get the first of our 2 half rail cars delivered on Tuesday. This is the one for, the dry bridge up by the Odyssey potholes on 155th. We've got John Dumpy lined up to pick it up off the trailer and set it in the ditch until we can get there and get the old bridge torn out and dug down and leveled, and then he'll come back and set it in the hole for us, so.
All right.
So this is on the Bradgate Blacktop?
No,
And this is on the...
Gravel.
Gravel.
This is on the gravel up by the Odyssey potholes.
All right.
Trying to think who lives up in that area. I think it's, Chris's daughter lives in,
Is it south or north, Blacktop?
north of the
North,
Blacktop. Yeah,
okay.
the Blacktop's 170th. So if you go up, up Elm, a mile and a half,
Okay.
and back east.
All right. So there's a chance that it be closed for a day or so, or?
Yeah, whenever, I mean, we'll do it under open traffic. There's 5-10 vehicles a day is all that's on that road.
Okay.
And then I talked to Tom last week. His plan is in between, hauling from quarries and hauling from stockpile, he'll tear the bridge out, so.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't need any action on that, right?
Nope.
Just a reminder.
I was just giving you a heads up, letting you know.
And I guess hopefully this white stuff goes away and we can be done, not having to worry about plowing roads like they did up in North and South Dakota, so.
I think we're gonna miss spring. We're just gonna jump right into summer.
Well, I'm just hoping it jumps forward in the temperature. I'm tired of getting 20-some degrees in the morning is
Yeah,
cold,
me too.
so. You see Todd
Here.
snuck in. You wanna give us a little overview? I hate to put you on the spot, but Ben brought it up last week. I drove out and looked at it while I was out and about over the week. And,
Bruce asked me to come and give you guys a little update on how conservation's coming with our ARPA projects that you guys gave us money for. Specifically, probably, what we've been focusing on is the campground expansion in Lower Sheldon, which would be downstream from the boat ramp, if you're familiar with Sheldon at all. Is that the best way to describe it, Bruce?
just from,
Probably?
I'd say east of your band
Okay.
shelter there.
Yep. So that area has never really been used much for anything. We've talked about doing something there for a long time. And with this ARPA thing, now is the time. Where we wanted to put the sites, there was always a little, kind of a hump that ran parallel to the river. It wasn't quite flat, it was close. So I went to Ben and asked him if he could maybe bring the maintainer out there and just kind of flatten off that little hump. And Ben and his guys went out there and instead of just doing a half-ass, can I say that on TV? Job, they decided they were gonna do it right. And they have really done a ton of work out there. So if you have a chance, I would encourage you to go out there and check it out, because it's gonna be very, very nice. It'll be super popular with people to go down there and park their camper and be able to have a nice view of the river and enjoy the river.
Be able to drown some worms or
Yep.
whatever, 'cause you're a
Fishing,
stone's throw from the river. and-
Whatever you want.
I mean, I think it's gonna be a super addition.
Yep, agreed. So, I cannot thank you enough, Ben,
No,
for the work you guys
The guys jumped at it. I mean, it was a chance to do something that...
Out of their wheelhouse for,
Yeah, something different that they hadn't done, and, you know, when the mornings would come up, it's like, okay, we're gonna send 2 guys, 2 pieces of equipment down there, who wants to go, every one of them? So, you know, 'cause it's...
Apparently, it's a lot more fun than grading roads.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can drop that blade into the dirt and cut 6-8 inches out at a time versus dragging pebbles from one side of the road to the other,
Yeah.
trying to...
For 8 hours.
fill a hole.
Good training for them.
Is that, something you're gonna have to seed down now?
Yep, we'll have to add a little black dirt and then seed it down, but our equipment, I mean, we would not have been able to do that on our own. We'd have had to hire it done, and Ben jumped on it, and I guess we're different departments, but on the same team, but I just want you to know, I appreciate your willingness to work with us and cooperate on it, I really do. It means a lot.
We're all Humboldt County, and, I don't know, it sounded like it was a good opportunity, so.
Yeah.
And that trail that you have is right behind there, so people can walk past and be watching what your bosses will be walking around, checking and making sure all of the things are done, 'cause it's a beautiful walking area out there, and I see and hear people all the time out there,
I
so.
would be shocked if that wasn't super popular with the
Yep.
campers. Shocked.
So technically, are we going to put anything down there, like, are you putting like a bathroom facility or eventually?
Yep, and that's also probably this fall. We hope to have that completed by spring of 2023.
Is this, Todd, is this adding additional camper hookups?
Yep, there'll be 8.
Adding additional camper.
It's debatable. It
Yeah,
depends
but
upon.
it is.
Whole Foods are really popular, and so that's kind of what we're looking at.
Mhm.
If you went with the back-in route, you could probably squeeze a couple more in.
Well, you know-
There's some give and take there. You wanna keep...
Campers like a little bit of room.
Yep, thank you. Rick.
When I used to camp, and you get in some of those places, you step out of your camper, you could almost touch the other camper. We didn't go back to that place.
Okay, and to me, that's valuable. I know
A few extra feet is worth it.
Yep, Gotch is really popular, but it's pretty tight out there. And if I were camping, I would like a little space between me and my neighbor,
Mhm.
especially if it wasn't a close friend or somebody that you knew.
Yeah,
So I think we'll definitely try to keep a little bit of green space in between sites,
yeah.
so.
Well, you had a little camper, and then you had a little awning on it, and that was all the width you had.
Yep.
Well, now you've got slides and slides, and...
Yep, things have changed, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger, fancier and fancier, it seems.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be cool. I mean,
It's, so far,
big
so
addition.
good, going well. I guess the contractors that I've talked to, I was a little leery that prices may have just jumped since I did my estimates. It sounds like they may have a little, but not anything significant, so that's good news too. We should be able to stay within our budget, or at least close to it,
Good.
so.
all right. Well, we appreciate you coming up here and giving us a little input or insight into what's going on, and I drove down there before the snow, and it really does look nice, so.
Yeah, like Todd said, we got some black dirt to throw on top of it, and then they got utilities.
Yeah, it's just too wet to do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just make a mess, so we'll just have to wait for it to dry out a little bit before we do that.
They're gonna have full hookup down there then?
Yep.
So it'll be a site that'll be ready for next year, right?
Yes, yep, it'll definitely, I have hope that it'll be maybe yet this year. Won't put that in paper right yet, but, yeah, realistically. probably next
Realistically,
spring.
you know, for the
Yes.
grass to get a good one
Yes.
established and stuff, yeah.
So,
But that'll be a great addition.
Yep, very, very popular.
Have we found grants and stuff for the...
Good segue, Dave. While I'm here, have any of you been following this Destination Iowa grant that Reynolds put out there a couple weeks ago?
I've been reading a little bit about it here and there, yeah.
There was a webinar Friday that I listened in on. The program as a whole is a $100 million grant opportunity.
Mhm.
She's broken it down into 4 different segments, but there is one that is the Outdoor Recreation Fund, and there's $40 million in there in that fund. So our dam project would be a great fit. With that said, they start taking applications on May 9th, and you have to have 60% of the cost secured before you can turn in an application.
That makes it difficult.
So that is challenging.
Mhm.
And if any of you have ideas, that I've racked my brain, how can we do this? How can we make this work? Because this is part of that ARPA funding that we've been waiting for. I mean, it's not the $2.1 billion that they initially talked about,
Yeah.
it is $100 million.
Mhm.
So, I've reached out to Matt Cosgrove. He was very receptive about lumping the trail project and the
Webster.
dam project. Had a real good conversation with him. He thought his supervisors would be very receptive to that also. He is actually the legislative liaison for the Iowa Association of County Conservation Boards. So he has some contacts within the legislature that he was gonna reach out to, try to find out, is there a way that we can wiggle our way into some of this money? That was Thursday, when I touched base with him. I haven't talked, it's on my to-do list today, I haven't talked to him yet today. But I just want you all to know, I'm trying, I haven't dropped the ball.
Yeah.
But that 60% secured match, that's a challenge,
Yeah.
so,
Well, to me, that limits the smaller counties.
same, that's geared towards the urban
Yeah,
trail.
I mean, you wanna do something in Des Moines or Waukee or somebody that's...
Skewed.
Do you know,
Oh, yeah.
do you know facetiously if you could get the 60%?
Okay.
If you could get that?
Yep.
And I know that's the question, but if you could, does that mean you get the grant?
It's a rolling application, they start taking, applications May 9th. So getting it in early would be beneficial to you, obviously. The lady that is kind of administering the grant process did say, think big, and they encourage you to partner with other communities, other entities. And so I'm listening, thinking, like, our project it's a perfect fit.
That's what I was looking at too.
The scoring criteria is here, our grant would score really well. It's how do you get that 60%?
Yeah, and,
That's the
but
challenge.
my question is, even if you had it magically, that's not a guarantee that you get the grant.
No, it's no guarantee, it's a competitive process, and I will say, on that webinar, there was 625 people logged in.
Oh,
Oh.
So I'm guessing they're gonna get quite a few applicants, so there is no guarantee, it's a competitive thing.
Right.
But I will also say,
That's part of the criteria, though, 60% guaranteed funding.
it's the same for everyone, so
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be scrambling.
Apply.
It's just gonna be who can pull that rabbit out of the hat, I guess, so to say.
The way I understand it, you need to come up with 60% of it, then they're gonna fund 40.
Yes,
That's the way it appears.
yep.
Or they could come back and say, oh, you got 60%, we'll give you 20%, you still gotta come up with another 20.
Was one of the questions too on that webinar, they may partially fund, you're not guaranteed that whole 40% match.
Mhm.
So that's a possibility too. So not, I mean, good news, but not maybe as good as
Yeah.
we were hoping for, but I'm working on it, I can assure you. And like I say, if you guys catch wind of something that maybe we should be doing, man, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm open for suggestions, if you have any.
Mhm.
well, we're a lot more apt to be able to help you with the grass seed for
Yeah.
Lower Sheldon than we are.
Probably scrape some of that together, but...
Been 60% of the dam project, I hate to say that, but, I mean, we all wish, if Alex was leaving, that he would make a big donation to the dam project, but I'm guessing that he probably is not gonna walk away with, unless you are, Alex, I don't wanna break you. Well, we still haven't found the 20 million that we're needing to move forward with that, so I guess we keep moving forward, and we appreciate your help trying to...
Stay on top of it.
Yeah,
Any grants,
like I say,
fine.
I rack my brain, talk to as many people as I can, and,
Mhm.
I don't know, unless Matt Cosgrove can magically find maybe a little bit of a loophole possibly,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull this one off.
Well, we appreciate your help, and we appreciate you coming in this morning to give us an update, so...
No problem.
Thanks, Todd. While you're here, I got a report of motorcycles and four-wheelers, especially four-wheelers running down there by Gotch Park, and timber there.
We've had, and we put something on Facebook, we put something in the reminder, we have had a lot of issues with the side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes on the Three Rivers Trail, on that Gotch Trail. Law enforcement's aware of it. If you have suggestions as far as how you curb that or stop it, let me know. Again, I'm trying.
I think younger style kids that are jumping out of town and
Two people,
getting on that trail and going.
the dirt bikes, there's common theme there, and law enforcement's aware of who they are. Catching them is
Right?
another thing. But, the four-wheelers, side-by-sides, or whatever you wanna call them, yeah, that's an issue too. And it's posted, it's signed, like I said, we've done the Facebook thing.
We sure don't need anybody
It's a good way to
running
get
over.
across the river.
Yep. That's what's going on with the Gotcha Park thing, yes.
They come down the gravel road past me and they never come back, and I think, well, that's odd.
Yep, so when we've got cameras up, when we do catch somebody, we'll take that video to the sheriff, and
Yeah.
they've been pretty good about working with us, but it's an ongoing thing. It just seems like everyone has one of the side-by-side things now, it's just so popular.
And all the towns open them up so you can drive them.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
That's the worst of it, is...
I'll go on record, I don't have one, I'd like
Okay.
one, but
And I don't even for Bruce, but I'm just saying, they're super popular right now.
Side by side, but it's got to be modified. He's not gonna get one.
I'd like one, but my wife won't.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you. See you guys.
See you.
See ya.
Okay, our next item here is, Rick,
Yeah, this is on our roof of the courthouse. I had this company come up and they looked it over, 2 months ago, and gave us a quote,
back when it was nice one day.
back when it was nice. Maybe it was last fall, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. All right, so that was the other company that came back a few months ago. But anyway, this outfit came up last fall and, looked at it and gave us a quote. And then I called another company out of Mason City, they came and looked at it, and I could not get a quote out of them because they can't get materials. This company has the materials on hand,
And is willing to do it.
and he's willing to do it, and he'll get at it. You know, that's a question that, back then, when he gave us the first quote, it was, 40 days or something like that. That was the spring that we sent it up. And I visited with him, and he gave us a new quote that is current, and you have it before you here. And, he says he's got the materials on hand, and he can get after it, so I thought this, and plus they're local, I mean, Fort Dodge. And he's gonna take off all, I don't know if anybody's been up on the roof, they got all these, I call them stand-ups, where you couldn't mount equipment if you ever needed it. They're gonna take off all the extra ones that haven't been used forever, and eliminate a bunch of those, so there's less places for it to leak, and, put a rubber roof on, instead of the old rolled asphalt that's kinda seamed together. So,
With that, that's on page 2, that's the total, at 103,800.
yep,
And I guess as long as they're still willing to do it, and basically do it from what the quote was before, and the other people came and looked, but never gave you a quote.
Yeah, I couldn't
We have to get it done.
we have to get done, they said the second company come up and took core samples, and they said the roof is leaking, 'cause there was moisture underneath the roof. So we do need to get it done before we have any damage. So,
And just an FYI, you wouldn't let me go up on the roof, you said I couldn't get through the hole, so that made me...
it's a pretty tight hole. It is, I gotta squeeze to get through there myself.
Really?
Yeah, it ain't very big. It's 2 foot or less, 2x2. So.
Well, with that...
Obviously, everything...
Well, the good news on that too, from when they looked at it earlier, it looks like this might be no more, if not a bit less than...
I negotiated with him on that number, and he brought it down to,
It's like it's $103,800 for
Yep.
that roof replacement.
And
Did they say, are we talking nice weather time, spring? This is
Yeah,
coming
you
up
know-
here pretty quick?
that's a question I forgot to ask you. But he does have the material on hand, he did tell me that.
So will they rip the old
They ripped the old off.
and we'll hopefully have a...
Then he takes off
After 10 days.
those extra stand-ups that are there, fills them back in so they're level,
Mhm.
puts insulation over it, and then the new rubber roof will go over, and he'll take out any wet insulation that's wet.
It'll be all cleaned up before they, because it kinda states it.
Yeah.
Cleaned up.
They'll have to have,
before they-
a good forecast to do
Yeah.
it, 'cause it's not a day job.
Right.
That's what I say, so you don't know, but you would think sooner than later with nice
Yes,
weather.
yeah,
So they have everything ready to go.
yeah.
Well, I would make the motion, to accept the bid for the KG roofing for the courthouse roofing installation of $103,800 as stated.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, for the, accept the roofing. And I guess we'll have Rick get a hold of them and see when they will
Yeah, I think all we gotta do is have you sign it, Bruce, and
get it back to them.
email it back to them or fax it to
And
them.
they'll get us hopefully a date. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Printed too. All right. Looks like we're to committee reports.
Okay, I was at the, NAWB all last week, and, Monday through Friday. Well, the meetings were Monday through Thursday, and then this was one Friday. But I attended a bunch of different breakouts, they had, like, universities like what ISAC has, and I attended all the ones that had to do with, youth and getting them, interested in tech or, field labor, instead of going down the 4-year route. They had some really good, information. There was one session that was on, K through 12, believe it or not, about how to introduce these different skilled laborers and to help kids try to figure out what they want to do and if they'd be interested in that. They talked a lot about apprenticeship. And so I'm going to be working with our local workforce development group to see if we can't get in the Humboldt school systems maybe a little bit more and do this. I'll be talking with Jim also, the superintendent, and kind of filling him out. I took a lot of good notes and some good information. So that was very beneficial. I'm really glad I went. I'm good at through our workforce. So now that I gave you guys that, I'm just gonna sign off, okay?
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
All right, talk to you
Thanks,
guys
Sandy.
later. Bye-bye.
Right. Dave?
Okay, Wednesday I drove around, looked at the damage around the county. Quite a little bit of it, a lot of stuff in the field. Wednesday night, the 13th, I had an animal shelter meeting. And it looked like all I had. A couple complaints that I took care of.
Good.
That's it.
Tuesday, the 12th, we had a Public Safety Commission meeting at 8 o'clock that morning.
And on the 12th, I was also at the public safety meeting. Then Wednesday evening, I had the dog shelter meeting with Dave. We talked about they're gonna look at fencing in the back area, so they got an exercise pen. We got a quote from Midwest Fencing for that. The dogs and cats are going in and out of there pretty good. Seems like the problem is, sometimes we get a cat, and before she leaves, she's 10 cats.
Oh.
They have babies while they're there. So they multiply pretty rapidly. So if anybody wants cats, there's always cats
Seem to
available.
have plenty of cats.
There is, and there seems to be plenty of cats around. They did talk about a cat colony that's living up there in those windmill blades.
Oh, lovely.
like 40 cats, they figure is in there.
Oh, mercy.
And people love cats, so they're putting food and water out up there at the Union Cemetery, 'cause that's right next door. So that isn't helping the cat population any. So they're hoping to do a little TNR up there. When they get some funds available. But, it seems like if there's any kind of rabbit population or mouse or whatever, like those windmills would attract, that also attracts the cats, and probably it's a great place for them to live too, inside them windmill blades. So, and then I had a conversation with Travis Peterson out here on DD 6. They were doing some pipe work to finish up that project, and there was a few more sloughs that Gary mentioned the other day he was in, and I'd got a work order together so they could fix those. So he's actually out there doing that now. So, I see he already fixed a few pipes. So that's about all I had.
All right. I did a couple of drive-arounds, like, as Dave mentioned, out west and north. I also went down through Sheldon Park and looked at that before the weather changed, so if you get a chance to drive out there and take a look at that, that's pretty neat job that our own workforce has done, so I think that's a plus for us, so.
It's really a big area.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, you know, when it was all full of brush and small trees, that it was as big as it was, but it is a big area back in there. So, I guess that was all I had. Do you have anything for us, Trish? Okay. Other than that, we wish you the best again, Alex. Drive safe.
Motion to adjourn.
Alrighty.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are out at 9:04.